So hello everyone. As you can see, I got my work clothes, so it means we're gonna work together. Since a very long time, everybody's asking me, my students, my collectors, and my fans, and even some friends, to see me working. But unfortunately, I'm in France, and many of you wanted me to make paperclay tutorial because paperclay is an unknown material, and I know it's not easy to get a lesson about that. So what I decided to do after the ordeal I've been through is to make a free tutorial in a video, because your support, your friendship, your love, and your presence by my side during all these terrible weeks just made that I'm still the maker today, because without you, I can honestly say that I wouldn't be a doll maker or a sculptor anymore, because I really was about dropping everything. So therefore, when money has no place and when it's priceless, because what you did for me was priceless, you can consider that this is a gift from me to thank you all. So what we're gonna do is that I would like to teach you how to make a paperclay face and head, of course, but the thing is that I'm going to use a technique of mine which allows to make a head that you can use for a normal doll or for a bow jointed doll. So I hope it's going to fit everyone's project. So anyway, now it's time to start. Tonight we're gonna make an overview about the materials and the tools you will need, and we're gonna make the very first step, and tomorrow I will keep on filming my sculpting, and we're gonna make the sculpting part. So what you need to make that is a wooden pick, like for the BBQ, you know, in summer. You need a miniature tool. This is a flat little metal blade. My camera is not that precise, but I hope you can see. You need a pointy tool to make the nostril and all that stuff. You need an X-Acto knife, a sharp one if possible. You need a wooden tool. So don't ask me where to buy that wooden tool, because it has been made on the measures of my hand. It's a gift from my mother, so it's not available in shops. But any wooden tool would make the trick, you know. It has to be like this, flat and pointy at one hand, and it has to be flat and round at the other hand. And a brush. So I want to talk to you about the brush. The brushes I use, as I hope you can see, are flat and square. You cannot use a pointy brush because it will damage all the area you're working on, and it's not a bad, it's a bad thing. So I want you to use a flat square brush, and I want you to keep in mind, because I may not say it every time during the sculpting part. Every time you see me using that brush, you must know that it is wet. I never ever use it dry, always wet. So, and we will need clay. My clay of choice is Premier. I don't advise ladle clay because it's a hard clay and you have to wet it and to knead it, and it's not easy for beginners. So it's a very hard clay, and also for the sanding part it's not that easy when you're not used to hair dry clay. So I take Premier myself. I can also take some premix. This is a clay developed by my late and beloved friend Hani Saris. It's a great clay too, but for beginners it's a little hard too, so it's not a good choice either for starting. I really don't advise to use diamond clay. This is the only clay I wish I would have never touched. It's like sculpting with semola mixed with glue. I mean, it's awful. You cannot work, you cannot sand, you cannot do anything with it. Just keep it and throw it in the garbage. Paperclay is a great clay because it's ready to use, which means that you don't have to moist it again. It's just perfect the way it is. It's smooth very well. You can sand it in a magnificent result. So really I advise you to take Paperclay. And you would need aluminum foil. So we're gonna start the first step now. You take the aluminum foil. You're gonna roll it in a ball, but I don't want you to make it too tight, because if you make a ball onto dough, you will have to remove it after, so it mustn't be too tight. So we're gonna make a nice ball. You see, you try to make it nice oval shaped if possible. Okay, you can see it's a ball. So you take the wooden pick and you put it on it. This is what you got, and this is going to be the model for your head. I know that tonight my camera is very clear, but I will try to sort it out for tomorrow and the sculpting part, because it's not good. So you're gonna take some Paperclay, and what we're gonna do, that we are going to cover the aluminum foil with the first layer of clay, and I want you to let that layer of clay drying overnight. Take some, so you will see it's very smooth and it doesn't stick to the finger. It's very soft, but you will see it. I mean, for those who are used to use polymer clay, you can be a little bit bewildered by the smoothness of Paperclay, but you will get used to it very fast, and you will see during the process that it can be a real advantage for it to be that smooth. So you take that, you take your clay, and you're going to cover. You make the clay flat. You're going to cover the aluminum foil like this. You take more clay, cover the entire aluminum core, and there we go. You can smooth using your thumb. It works wonderfully with Paperclay, and then we do have it. So that first one, you see, it's not beautiful, it's nothing, it's just, you know, a ball of clay over aluminum. I want you to let it dry overnight, and tomorrow we're gonna start the sculpting part. Why I want you to let it dry is that when you have a good base to work on, it's easier. I mean, the great advantage of Paperclay is that when you add fresh clay, you only have to moist a little the dry clay, and you put the fresh clay and it sticks wonderfully. Another thing is that even though it can be dry, completely dry, I mean since weeks, you can always moist it again and work on it again, and it will become soft again. And you can also carve it if there's a part that you dislike, a detail that you dislike. You want to start all over the mouth, the eyes, the nose, whatever. You can carve it with a knife or a blade, and you moist a little with your brush, and then again you sculpt the part missing, and you make another one, and so on and so on and so on. So the good thing is that with Paperclay it's never over. You can always start all over again. So here we are. smooth, nice, regular, so we can do it. So for now I want you to get ready, and we will get back here tomorrow to keep on our sculpture. So one thing, don't ask me, please, I mean, I always have that problem with my students, that don't ask me proportion or size or whatever, because I never ever use them, never. I mean, I improvise always, and you know, it goes how it goes. I never measure a thing, I never sketch. I mean, even when I make a ball-jointed doll prototype or whatever, cast in porcelain or resin, I never ever make a sketch. And my friend Jan will know why, because we never ever draw. She is my 3D SF. So if you have a question beside the measurement, if you have a question, whatever it is, what you can do is commenting on that video, commenting on my Facebook, or even sending me an email, but I would prefer comment because it's easier to answer, you know, it's shorter, so it takes less time. So just feel free to ask me if there's something that you don't understand, if you got a technical problem, because it can happen to everyone. So, and that's it. So we got a nice ball of clay, and we will be back tomorrow. See you tomorrow.